All right, you guys. So if you are new to Siser, if you are new to Leonardo Design Studio, hello and welcome. Coming from Cricut Design Space to Leonardo is definitely a breeze. Trust and believe me. Once you go from Cricut to Siser, you will not regret it. So this is Leonardo's Design Space, and I only had my Caesar for about 3 to 4 months now. I'm not a guru at it yet, but I know enough to where I can produce the sticker sheets and die cut stickers perfectly. Okay. Now, if I have any navigation issues or if you have any navigation tips, feel free, friends, to leave it in the comment section below. An easier way to get through the process. Okay. So this is our home page, and I'm going to assume that you already set up your Cricut. Hopefully it's not still in the box because I know how you guys are. But once you set everything up, this is the home page here. Now you're going to go down to design right here and click on design. This is your mat. Okay. Now, if you follow me from my previous sticker videos, you know I build my sticker sheets in Canva and I import them in the design space. The reason why I do this is because you can't import more than one PNG at a time, and that is very tedious, especially when you have multiple elements on your page. So before we actually start playing around with Caesar, I'm going to show you how I do it in Canva. So let me just pull up my Canva screen here. Now, your sticker sheet could be whatever size you want it to be. Okay. For example, this sticker sheet is a 4x7. I build them separately. So I build my backing on one project and then I build the actual stickers on another project. The reason why I do this is because the space I want my stickers is much smaller than my backing. For example, let me just pull a square out here. So again, this is a 4x7, but the space where my stickers are actually going to be sitting is a 4x6. So this project is a 4x6. So when I import everything into Caesar, I know it's going to fit perfectly within this square without taking away from the sizing of my stickers, if that makes any sense. Now, when you download your stuff from Canva, you're going to download your backing non-transparent. Okay, you're going to hit share, download. Do not check transparent background. Make sure it is a PNG and you're going to download it. Okay. Don't change anything else on here. Now, when it comes to your actual sticker PNGs, you see how everything is separated. You are going to download as a transparent background. Do not download it without clicking on transparent background. Okay. So make sure it's transparent and then click download. And also make sure you rearrange your elements on this page how you want it to look directly on your sticker backing. Okay. So let's go ahead and move back over to Caesar. Now this is our mat. Since we're doing a print then cut job, we're going to make sure print then cut is actually selected. If it looks like this, just make sure you hit print and cut job printed sheet. Okay. Then it's going to add these little guidelines on the outside. Also, just to make sure you're within the printing guidelines, hit page margins. This lets you know that anything outside of here will not be printed and will not be cut. Since my paper size is an 8.5 by 11, I'm going to change it to US letter 8.5 by 11. And then we're going to uncheck page margins and check it again so that it can reset itself. Now, you have multiple options here. If you don't like the white background, you can go ahead and click on dark if you feel like that's easier on the eyes. You can click hide guidelines if you don't want those guidelines on there or grid lines on there. Yeah, those are just little simple tips. Now let's go ahead and get to the most fun part, which is importing our sticker sheets. Okay, so what you're going to do is go up to file here and hit import. The first thing I like to import is the backings first, but it's your preference if you want to import the actual sticker PNGs. But let me go ahead and go to my file here. So let's go to stickers and sticker sheets. Let's see. Let's grab the strawberry. Strawberry is like my favorite. Okay, so let's go ahead and import the backing. And we're gonna click just background image. You can hit print and cut, but I only use print and cut option for the actual PNGs so that I can control the offset. Since I don't need to like control the offset of this, it's completely just, it's gonna print just like this. I just hit background image only and just hit next. Now you're just going to just size this back down to your original size. You can either size them down just like this, or you could just type in your width and height right here. Now typically, as long as this is locked, it should automatically go to the correct size. So I'm gonna hit 7 and it should automatically go to the width of 4 or a little over, which doesn't matter, just like that. So it is the width of 4 and then it's a little 1 there and then the height of 7. All right, so if the project is a little too far away and you really need to see the details of your project, you can either click the 100% here, or you can click on the magnifying glass right here, or you can click the shift button on your keyboard and use your mouse and roll the middle console part up and down, like forward and back, just like this. Okay, so that's 3 ways to zoom in and zoom out. Okay, now we're going to import in our PNGs. So let's go ahead and click on file, click on import, and I'm just going to click a random picture within the strawberry collection, and we're going to click open. Now this time, instead of clicking background image, we are going to click print and cut, and we're going to go through and select the correct features to make sure everything is going to print correctly. Now I do not click on select color range or drawing tools because I literally built everything in Canva. The only thing you pretty much need to worry about is the contour. Now on this particular page, this kind of controls your minimum area of contour, or including holes. Say for example, one of your projects has holes in them and it's going to be highlighted in blue. Say for example, these little seeds were blue. Anything that has that blue outline is going to be cut out. So if there's blue inside of your project, you can click on include holes or not include holes. So if you uncheck this, it will make the blue outline only on the outer of the project, if that makes sense. Now say for example, you only want these to be cut and you don't want these little strawberries to be cut. You want this to actually be part of the background. You're going to move this back and forward. You see that, how it removed the blue outline, but yet when I move it smaller or make the number smaller, it added it back in there. That's what this feature is for. Okay, so since I want my strawberries, I'm going to make sure it's all the way at 1. I don't mess around with the smoothing feature. Then I click on next, and it's letting me know, hey, this is what is going to be cut out of this particular project. But you can always zoom in and see. So for my sticker sheets, I always like to add a contour. And you can actually change the color of the contour in this section as well. So what I'm going to click on first is include contour bleed, and then I'm going to zoom in a little bit so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. Okay, so this is the cut line, the little dots. That's where it's going to cut. This is actually going to be a part of the project. This is your bleed line. Okay, so anything that's outside of this cut line is the bleed line. So we're going to play around with this so you can see what I'm talking about. So I bring it down to 1. You see how small the bleed line is? Now this can be very tricky, especially if your background is a different color than your actual PNG, because say for example, I know when your contour is white, you can't really tell the difference on if it cuts outside of the contour line or not. But if you're playing around with different colors, you definitely want to make sure your offset bleed line is at least thicker or around 4 to 5. Okay, just to make sure it's covering the basics of the image. Okay, now up here is your contour offset, how far you want this line to be out. So say for example, I want it to be the contour to be a little bit thicker, so let's move that line. You see that? You see how it's going down a little bit? So it's also including the bleed line, but it's actually adding another contour line around the image. So it's only going to cut this. This is just an extra barrier just in case the cricket, y'all. The Siser cuts outside of this line. It still has that blue contour line, but we're going to change it to white for today. Okay, so it's still, again, my background is different colors, so I definitely want to make sure my bleed line is typically standard at 4. I never go below 4. I just never go below 4. Okay, and you can make this as thick as you would like. I typically, let me just zoom out so I can kind of see how thick I want it. I usually say between 20. That looks pretty good. Now you can always, like I said, go down and up to see how big you want this, but I feel like 16, I feel like 20 is good. Okay, so my contour offset is 20 and my contour bleed is 4. Now we're gonna click on finish, and here is our PNG sticker sheet with the actual offset. This part is very important. We want our PNGs to be kiss cut, and we want our backing to be die cut. There's actually 2 ways to change this to a die cut sticker or contour around it. So I'm gonna actually import in another backing because I want to give you guys examples on how to do this in multiple ways, because I'm going to import in this same backing, but I'm going to change it around this time. Instead of hitting background image, I'm going to hit print and cut, and I'm going to go through. Now, you see how the Siser recognizes some of the objects in the background as it's transparent. You see that? This is why I only hit the background image instead of hitting print then cut, because it's assuming you want to cut something out. Now, if I hit next, you see there, it wants to cut out the E, it wants to cut out the A, it wants to cut out everything. Now, this is where the include holes comes into play. So if I uncheck this, still, some of the things are still contoured, but this is what this is for. We're going to bring that down to 1. And you see how it took away some of it, but it still recognizes this to be cut out. This is why I don't use the print and cut feature for my backing, because sometimes the software can't recognize what I want to be a part of the backing and what I just want to cut out as a full sheet. Now, in some cases, sometimes it actually recognizes everything, and it's just one blue square. But just so that you don't have to go through this process multiple times to figure out what project is going to do it and what project is not, that's why I only use the background image when or background feature when importing in my backing. I just want to let you guys know that. So if you ever see something like this, just hit back it up, go ahead and cancel, file, import, find the PNG, and click on background image. Okay, so I'm gonna hit cancel again. So now I moved my stickers over to the side. I want this to be blue. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down to my toolbar again, and I'm going to hit build a contour. I'm only going to click on build contours, not build fine lines. Okay, so we're going to build a contour, and we're going to zoom in. It's going to let you know where the contour is actually going to go. It's going to go directly outside of the guidelines of the sticker sheet, which is what you want. Now, you do have the option to include an offset around your backing, but what are we doing that for? But if you need to do that, this is where you would do it. So I'm just going to click it up, and it's letting you know it's going to cut a little outside of the sticker backing. We don't want that, so we're going to bring that back down to 0. I would only use that feature for die cut stickers, and I'll show you that in another tutorial. Okay, so we're going to hit 0, and we're going to apply. So now we can control. At first we didn't have this option, so now we can control what feature we want for our backing. Okay, so again, blue is die cut, so that means it's going to cut the entire image out. Green is kiss cut, which is going to leave the sticker attached to the backing. Okay, so we want our backing to be blue, so I'm going to click on cut tool. Okay, so now we have to change our PNGs to a Kiss Cut sticker. Even though it has that green outline, it is not a Kiss Cut sticker. To make sure it's a Kiss Cut sticker and a die cut sticker, you can see the color themes right here. So blue, again, die cut. Green means Kiss Cut. So go to color picker, click on the Kiss Cut, go to cut tool, click full cut perf. These are the only features you need to know when making stickers. Cut tool, full cut perf. Die cut, Kiss Cut. So these are the only 2 features you need to know to make stickers. Cut tool, die cut, full cut perf, sticker sheet. Die cut, sticker sheet. Blue, green. Okay, so now we have green for our Kiss Cut and blue for our backing. You see how the colors change over here. Okay, so now we can go ahead and align this right back over our sticker sheet, and we can right click if it's behind it and just do order, bring send to back, kind of the same as Cricut. And we're going to highlight and we're going to center it. Make sure everything is centered, nothing moves, so it's perfect. Now, you know how in Cricut Design Space you have to highlight everything and group it together and attach them. Do not do that in Siser. Do not do that, okay? And I'm going to show you why. So if I were to group this, let's, for example, I'm going to group them together. I right click and group, and I hit send to design. Don't mess with anything here. Just hit send. It turned everything blue. That means it's going to cut everything out. You don't want that. So let's go ahead and click back, and we're going to ungroup. Okay, let's hit send to design. You see how it changed colors? The blue is on the outside, which is our backing, and the green is our PNGs, which is our Kiss Cut stickers. I know it's a little, you have to get used to it, but trust me, once you get this down, you're going to make it sticker sheets all day. So the first thing we're going to do, let me go back, is I want 2 to a page. So I'm going to highlight, hold the shift button down, toggle this over, and it's going to move by 15 degrees, and we're going to make sure it's at 90 degrees. This is how I can fit 2 sticker sheets on a page at the most, based on the size that I'm using. You probably could fit more if you have a smaller size. So then I'm going to kind of move that up. I'm going to highlight everything again, and I'm going to hit the duplicate button here, and I'm going to drag it on down. Okay, just like this. So they're side by side. Okay, so everything looks perfect. I have my and you can always make sure everything is color coordinated for the correct cutting tool on the right hand side under layers. Okay, now I'm going to ask my community that has been actually using Siser for quite some time, is there a faster way to duplicate? Because why do I have to go down to the toolbar and do it? Because I know in Cricut Design Space I could just hit Control D. I can't do that in Siser. I can't just highlight and just Control D. It just doesn't do anything. Maybe there's a trick, or maybe, like I said, I have a different keyboard, so maybe that's the issue. But is this the only way for me to duplicate my images, or right clicking it? Let me see if that's even an option. No, that's not even an option to right click. But yeah, help me out down below. If there's a faster way to duplicate a project, let me know. Okay, so let's moving on to the next step. Now we're going to hit send to design. Let's hit send. Now what we're going to do is there should be 2 projects on the left hand side. I'm not gonna say 2 projects, 2 windows, 2 cut previews on the right hand side. And one should be showing everything how it should be printed out, and one should be showing how it's going to cut out on your Siser. So we're going to print out our image first. I will be printing this with my Epson 8550, but if you have a 2800 or a much smaller printing machine, you're just going to select the correct settings. I have mine set specifically for my stickers, so I'm just going to select my printer, and I'm going to select my preset print job, and I'm going to go ahead and hit print the image. All right, so for the sticker paper, I use the same sticker paper I've been using for quite some time now. If you've been following me, matte sticker paper, sorry about that. matte sticker paper by Joeeza. I'm going to put it on the screen so you can have a visual. And I'm going to be using a clear self-adhesive laminate by HTB Rot, but the 5 mil. I'm going to put that on the screen as well. Okay, so I'm going to be using my 8550 today, and I'm going to be using the rear feeder, which is going to be the back of the printer, because you get the most vibrancy from using this part of the printer instead of using the feed tray from the bottom. Again, if you don't have a 8550, feel free to use whatever printer you have at your house. My secondary is my ET2800, has done me well my first year of my business, so I have no complaints with either machine, to be honest. So I'm going to go ahead and load up my sticker paper in the back feeding tray. I do have my print settings set to a high quality, so it's going to take its time and make sure that my sticker paper is very saturated with a lot of color. So let me go ahead and do a time lapse for you guys. Okay, you guys, I actually forgot to hit the time lapse button, but it's okay. Everything printed beautifully. Let me just show you the results. So this is how your paper or your sticker sheet should be looking. It should have your offset and your sticker sheet backing and everything. Okay, so now before we actually start to cut it, I'm going to go ahead and add my self-adhesive laminate, and it doesn't have to be clear. You can get a little fancy and get holographic stars, whatever the case may be. Just keep in mind that your pressure settings is going to vary based off of how thick your laminate is that sits on top of your sticker sheet. But I'm going to show you a little trick so you don't waste a lot of sticker paper a little later on in the video. All right, so when it comes to actually adhering this on top, just to make sure you don't have any bubbles, I still use my laminator. Yes, it's a little slower than using a squeegee. And what I mean by squeegee is this tool right here. I actually started my stickers off by using a squeegee, and it's a hit or miss. I want to say 90% I got it correctly, 10% I messed up, but you know, for each his own. It's part of a learning curve. But I do recommend, if you do decide to do the squeegee method, make sure that, or it's easier to make sure the squeegee is just the same exact length as your sticker paper, so you can just go through at one swipe. They have longer ones. This is kind of small, but if you can find one, just find one that's as long as a sheet of paper, so you can kind of just go through it one time. Okay, but let me head over to my laminator so I can adhere this together. So I'm still actually using my pink laminator that I started off with my business. I only use this one for cold laminating. I don't use it for hot anymore. But yeah, this is like everything I'm using in this video is always listed in my Amazon must have. So what I'm gonna do is, if you don't know how to adhere these together without messing up, I do have a detailed video, and I'll leave that down below as well for you guys. You see at the end, I kind of pulled it too soon, and this is what happens. Sometimes it gets those little air pockets in there, which is fine. As long as it's not on my design, I can still use this, okay? I also forgot to mention, you're also going to need a brayer tool to make sure that you adhere your sticker sheet on the mat properly. I am using a light grip. Do not use a standard grip when it comes to your stickers, because it will ruin the sticker, okay? Trust me. Even with the light grip, when you first use it, it's still a little bit tacky, so be light. For a new one, take it like really slow. Don't kind of press it down, you know what I'm saying? If you've been doing stickers for a while, you know what I'm talking about. But if you're new, don't. That's a little tip. Just a little light one, especially when it's very fresh and new. So I'm going to take this cover off. I have some paper left over from a previous project. The arrows for the Siser is at the bottom. Usually for a Cricut, it's at the top, but this one is at the bottom, okay? And there's a reason for this arrow, which I'm going to show you. I'm going to go ahead and turn on my Siser. Press the button, lift that up, And we're going to go ahead and add this to our mat, same as you would do the Cricut. Just make sure it kind of is aligned top and bottom. Arrow at the bottom left is facing upwards. And we're going to take our brayer tool and just lightly rub against it again, because this is a brand new mat. I don't want it to stick too bad. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and load this up. Now, to lift up your rollers, it's actually in the back. I'm going to show you. There is a lever right here that you have to pull down, just like that, to lift these rollers up to insert your mat in. Okay, so we're going to insert our mat in and make sure it's against the wall. You see, all the way to the edge over here, past the arrows. Let me make sure I'm clear. About right here. And the reason why I do this, so you're going to use these arrows on your Siser to move your cutting tool. You see, left and right. Okay, so what I like to do is I like to tap it until I get the blade, or the tip of this red blade, right at the corner of this arrow. Okay, so just like that, and I might tap it over just a little bit, just like that. You see where my blade is? Let me try to get a good angle. You see, it's kind of right on top of the edge of that square in the corner, not the arrow, but the square. Once I get that there, I can go ahead and take my lever and push it back up. Now this is locked into place. Okay, now to play around with your pressure settings, I'm going to actually go back to that, but to play around with your pressure settings, to know what pressure to use and input inside of Leonardo Studio, you can actually use the test button. My camera. The test button right here. So I'm going to just move my cutting tool over to a blank space. So I'm going to tap it maybe right here. You see how there's nothing here? So I'm not messing up my design while I'm testing. And I'm going to actually click on cut settings, and this is where I can test the speed and the pressure. Now, I always keep the speed around 10. The only time I take the speed down is I feel like if it's moving too fast where it's ripping my sticker sheet or my stickers, I might take it down to maybe 7 or 8. But for today, we're going to leave it at 10 because that's my standard. Now, for the force for sticker sheets, I like to stay between, with a new blade, between 25 and 30. Now, as the blade gets duller, you might have to up the pressure or replace your blade, or you can actually push, twist this down a little bit. The gold part right here, you could twist it to kind of push, make the blade go further closer to the mat, and that can help to alleviate adding more pressure as well. Like I said, this is going to vary, but so just to test it out before I actually, because we don't want to waste any paper, I'm going to test out speed of 10 and 25. So all we're going to do is hit this little test button right here. Okay, so what it did was it actually cut out a little t-shirt. So if it actually peels back perfectly, we're going to use this arrow to unfeed our mat down, and we are going to look. I have to get a little glare. Where is it? Right there. And so what you're going to do is take your weeding tool. Y'all, this one's really beat up. Do not judge me. Take your weeding tool and see if it comes out and leaves the back attached. You see if I can kind of get a good grip. This one is so beat up. Let me see if I can. It's a little rough. You see that? It's not really pulling up smoothly. You want it to be a smooth pull. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to up the pressure. So I'm going to go from 25. Let's do 30. Okay, we're going to feed out. And the second time, it did not weed out perfectly. Again, you're going to have to do this a few times. But the good thing about the test button, no matter how many times you have to do this, you're not wasting any sticker paper. You're literally testing on a blank area of a sticker sheet or a sticker paper that you're already about to cut open or cut.
that the pressure settings for my stickers is a 49. The reason why it's at 49, again, my blade is a little bit duller. I had to actually bring my blade down closer to my mat, so I don't have to change the blade as often. And like, again, this is going to depend on how busy you are, how many stickers you're making. That's, like I said, the importance of the test button. So I know that my full perf, which is my kiss cut, is a speed of 10, force of 49. And if I change this to cutting tool, this is the die cut, the part that goes around this blue part here, I have that set to force 8, speed 8, force 80, because you want it to be a heavy press. You want this to cut out completely. Now down here, you can actually control how many passes it goes around. Maybe you want it to go around 2 times. Kind of like Cricut, you can kind of control how many times the blade goes around a die cut sticker. I keep it standard at 1 because I have my pressure just right. But if you need to add a little bit, you know, maybe you doing maybe a heavy duty cardstock, you need it to go around twice, this is where you would do that, okay? So my kiss cut settings 49, die cut settings 80, okay? Okay, so before I actually hit send to cutter, which is right here, I went ahead and loaded my sticker paper right back exactly where I said I was gonna put the blade, right at the corner of that square. And now I'm gonna go ahead and hit send to cutter, and it's gonna read those registration marks very quickly and start cutting. So once I hit it, it's gonna give you a little preview window just to make sure everything in the pressure is correct, and you're just gonna hit OK. And watch how fast it reads. And that's it. It's already cutting. Anytime you're having any issues with your cut, say for example your sticker paper slides off, maybe your mat is not as tacky, you have the options to hit pause. You can stop the project. You can change the pressure settings in the middle of a cut, which hit cut settings. The good thing about this is that, say for example, I wanted to print 10 of these. I do not have to keep going back to my computer hitting send to cutter, send to cutter. Whatever the last project was printed on your machine, it's already saved in the memory, and all you have to do is just load it up, hit play. Load it up, hit play. Load it up, hit play, until you actually send another design to the Siser for it to cut. Great thing. I love that option, so I don't have to keep going back to my computer. Well, look, it's taking its time. It's not going too fast. It's not going too slow. It's being very precise with those cuts. And again, I probably need to change my blade or lower it down a little bit. The lower, again, the lower you have your blade to the mat, the less you probably have to add on the pressure. But yeah, I really do love my Siser, you guys. Again, I still love you, Cricut. I use you sometimes, girl, but you got to take the back seat and, you know, let the Siser handle all the heavy lifting. And it's done. You see that? Hit the downward arrow. It's going to feed out. Let me just set up my camera so we can do a little test together. Lift this up. Just put everything out the way. And we're going to look at that. Look. Push that down a little bit. You see how smooth that just came off? Come on now. Ooh. And then every time, just to make sure your sticker sheets does not bend, flip it upside down like this and pop them off that way, just like that. Okay? Then pull it. All right? Let's do a little reveal. Let's do one here. Ooh, come on. And then go ahead and test it out. Look at that. Perfect. And this is what I was saying about the contour. You see how a little bit of the white is still on the design? That's that bleed I was telling you about. Let me see if I get a little closer. Right there. That's the bleed. That white little contour line around once I take the sticker completely off. Oh, y'all, when I say this thing peels like butter, it peels like butter. Let me see if y'all can get some ASMR. Oh, child. Y'all, I love making sticker sheets, especially when they come out right. So use that test feature, you guys. That's what it's for you to test it out so you don't waste no materials. Let's try the other one. Make sure I zoom in a little bit. Oh, y'all, come on now. Y'all already know. I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm talking about. I always know what I'm talking about. Okay, you guys, I hope you enjoyed it. I tried to make this as beginner friendly as possible. You already know I'm a beginner friendly channel. So if you guys really enjoyed this tutorial, make sure you subscribe if not already. Leave a comment down below if you have any general questions. And I do actually have a beginner friendly stationery course if you really want to actually turn your hobby into a successful real business. You guys, I'll leave that down below and I'll talk to you next time.